Great. Well, we'll get started. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon for this webinar on green safaris. I am joined by Roz Hine, Business Development Manager, who will be taking us through the presentation this afternoon. Just some housekeeping before we get started. The webinar will be recorded and we'll upload it to our YouTube channel and send it out in a follow-up towards the end of the week. We'll also have some time at the end for questions, so anything that comes to mind throughout the presentation or at the end, please do just pop it into the Q&A and Roz will be able to answer it at the end. Roz will also be presenting with her camera off, just as she is in Cape Town and we're just slightly conscious of the internet connection. But other than that, it all should be fine. But for now, I will hand over to Roz.
Thanks so much. Well, thank you very much. Thanks, guys. Sorry, I can't keep my camera on, but we did a bit of a test run earlier and it seems to be dragging my internet. So we unfortunately are going to keep that off, but I'm here live. And I just want to thank you all for taking time out of your busy afternoons. I know it's a very busy time of the year for our industry. So I really do appreciate that. So let me move straight on. Green safaris. Who are we? Well, we were originally founded by a gentleman called Vincent Covenhoven. He built a lodge in Kafue called Ila, which is over here. And then shortly after he built it, he realized that he needed to engage with communities if we were going to have ecosystems left going into the future. So he went back to the Netherlands, he formed a foundation, he got some big business to invest in that foundation. And then they sat down and decided what is it that we're going to want to do and how are we going to do it. And that is how we went into tourism further, because having ears and eyes on the ground is part of managing ecosystems. It's also creating jobs. It's funding research projects, anti-poaching units, but also working with communities in the areas. We do a lot with bamboo plantations. We do a lot with building dams to create water security, which creates food security. We have people that live in the communities that teaches them how to use their soil to their best ability and what they must grow and how they can grow things without pesticides and using natural fertilizer. There's a push-pull situation between the lodges and that with our food waste products. And we've also introduced these new ovens which require very little fuel. The bamboo is also to provide alternative fuel, but also building materials. It's fast growing, it's hardy, and it offsets our carbon footprint. It's how we build our lodges, the green footprint, the carbon neutral footprint. We use electric vehicles in some of our lodges, and moving forward, we're going to be expanding that. Solar, et cetera, et cetera. Also skills centers, schools, it's very, very big. On our website, there is an audited report that you can download, which gives you more insight into everything that we do, because I could sit here for an hour talking about that. Our 2024 will be uploaded at the end of our financial year, which is now end of this month. So March, April, we'll be uploading the new audited report for 2024, but currently the 22 and 23 one is there. So after Ila, Kaya Mawa came up for sale, which is on Kaya Mawa, which is in the middle of Lake Malawi. I just want you to have a look at that body of water and how big that is. If you look at Kafue, it's the sort of size of Wales. It's the third biggest park in Africa. And then you look at Lake Malawi and you'll understand just how big that body of water is. Lake Malawi being down the bottom here. And that is already a very big man-made lake. So we bought Kaya Mawa in 2018. James was heading back to the UK, and there was a very big community that relies on secondary jobs, their main job being fishing. And so we want to contribute to that ecosystems through providing jobs that communities don't need to rely on fishing, because there obviously is overfishing that happens as well. Reforestation projects, schools, skill centers, everything that happens on an island, and it's already built in a very green way, so it made sense for us to buy that. Then Tongabezi, Sindabezi was bought in 2020 after Ben tragically passed away in 2019. I worked for Ben before for 15 years, so that's where my paths crossed with green safaris. 21, they opened up Chisa and Shawa. They had made some promises to the chiefdoms, and that opened. And for example, the entire team that built Shawa became the staff of Shawa. So in the beginning, obviously there was some, 10 manuals from faulty towers, but now they're the most incredible staff. Their loyalty, their friendliness, and their proudness, the proudness of their lodges just oozes out of them. So that's Shawa. And then in 23 July, we bought Sausage Tree and Potato Bush. Jason put that up for sale. And it's sort of apt because Ben used to have shares in Sausage Tree. James and Ben were brother-in-laws, so it's like those three properties are back under one umbrella. So when we bought that, we decided to look at what was the barriers to entry to selling Zambia. One of them is it's not very well known out there in the industry. And so we engaged a lot with the tourism boards and government we had a new government that came on 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago, engaging with them on how to get PR out into the marketplace, but also we only have one scheduled airline. So we decided to launch what we call the Wings and Wheels incentive. So we make it very easy for you to put the puzzle together. So the rates that we send out include your flights in between the lodges. It includes your meet and greets. It includes your airport taxes, your conservation levies, fees, blah, 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 anything. Obviously the accommodation, the non-premier drinks, all your activities, included activities at each lodge, all of that is included in the nightly rates. So it makes it very easy for you guys to quote. You're just taking the nightly rate, timesing by the amount of nights, and you know that you're covered end to end. You do need to be 4 nights or more on our portfolio, so not necessarily 4 nights in one property, just on the portfolio for that to work. And it starts and ends at your closest international airport. So for example, if you were starting in Livingstone with the Victoria Falls, then heading up into the safari area, and then going up to Lukomo for your beach element, and then ending at Lilongwe. So you would start at Livingstone and you would end at Lilongwe, and everything else in between is covered. It's a shuttle seat in transfer, a seat in charter transfer, but it's only Green Safari's clients. So you're not going to be with other lodges. It's only Green Safari's clients in those aircraft. But so what we do is we try to map the flights as much as we can at 30 days out. It's very reliant on the information we're getting in from the agents on their incoming outbound flights. So if we get it all on time, we're able to plot at 30 days, but we do reconfirm routes and times in camp 24 hours out, because things do change. Because, for example, if an Ethiopian Airlines coming into Lusaka is maybe an hour delayed, we're going to hold the plane, so that there could be a domino effect for somebody maybe that's been picked up out of Sausage Tree and maybe going down to Livingstone. However, we're never going to let that affect a client missing an international flight. So if a flight was delayed, but we have got clients coming out of Lower Zam that are maybe connecting and won't make their flight if we wait, we will then send the aircraft, and then we'll make another plan for those guys coming in on the delayed flights. So this is all the stuff that we do 24 hours out. Maybe Mafui goes into a fueling issue, so then we have to go via Lusaka to refuel. We can't go direct. All of these things we reconfirm in camps with clients 24 hours out. Well, the managers do. The managers all have a WhatsApp group. So when we receive a client, we learn a lot about them in camp. They sign their first indemnity when they get in. They don't re-sign it at every single camp. It gets sent on. And we learn a lot about clients, even though they've told the agents a lot about themselves. There is still stuff that we find out about them, and that also gets shared on to the next lodge, sort of tag you're it kind of thing, to maybe heighten clients' experience as they're moving through. Okay, so that's the map of Green Safaris. So wholly owned by us, all of our properties. We don't do third-party properties unless it's an overnight in Lusaka or Lilongwe, that the clients want that. Okay, so why Zambia? I think Zambia knocks the socks off the rest of Southern Africa in terms of safari. I've been involved in this industry for 30 years, and having been to all of the Southern African properties, Zambia is still my favorite when it comes to safari. All 3 parks are very different ecosystems, and we'll go through that when we get to each one. It's also not just game drive focused. There's a lot of river-based activities and walking, etc. So that's great. And then, of course, we're ending with a beach destination in Malawi, which is an absolute dream. I've already spoken about our circuits, so I'm going to show you some video. We did try it out earlier. There may be a couple of times where it just holds for a second and then carries on, so just bear with me. Livingston Island down at the falls is also us. So we'll talk a little bit about this whole region as the video is playing. I'm going to turn the sound off so that I can at least talk to you while we are watching the video. The Tongabezi is about 25 minutes from Livingstone Airport and about 25-30 minutes from the falls. We're the only ones that does airside meet and greet in Livingstone. We're the only ones that do have a little office in the Livingstone Airport and an airport manager. We do our own transfers. We're the only ones to have butlers. We're the only ones to make dining an experience, and it's included in your rates. We have a whole lot of houses, which are big houses with plunge pools, and then we have what we call the river cottages. We've got 2 family rooms, one being a dog house, which has got 2 rooms interconnected with walkways, and then we've got the garden house. The river cottages here, we've got 5 of them. Those are very similar, but they don't have plunge pools, but they do have access to the heated big pool behind them at the spa center, where the gym is as well. We're the only ones to include Livingstone Island as part of the activities in the area. So it's complimentary. We do all the bog standard stuff that everybody else does, the tour of the falls and the fishing and the sundowner cruises, etc. But we do the only ones that does floating breakfasts and dinners out on the Zambezi River. You'll see an image of that coming up. We're the only ones that have electric dhow boats, which we take out for cruises, or we go take, that's the heated pool, by the way, that takes you out into the picnic islands here, which are called sandbars, or we have sundowner bars, or we do a lunch picnic on the island. We do have these, our Tonga choir, which is there's the floating dinner, breakfast. We have a Tonga choir that that comes and sings. They from the Tonga village next door. We have a school that's connected to the lodge called Tichachani that has 320 pupils. So yeah, just an amazing product in itself. And then we've got Sindabezi Island. Sindabezi Island is downstream from the falls. It's an island. You can only get to it by boat. You used to have to come to Tongabezi and then come downstream, but now it's got its own launch site close to the island, so you can come off the island at night. It's got 5 rooms, 2 rooms with ball and claw baths and showers, and the other 3 with just showers. We do have a lot of buyouts of this island because, 8 to 10 people can take the whole island exclusively, and I think there's something luxurious about having the island to yourself in the middle of the Zambezi. But we do obviously also take FITs. There's a lot more communal dining at our smaller lodges. So if a client still wants to be private, please do let us know, because there is ways we can do that with our various little decks we have all over the place, all over the island. You get the same inclusions and exclusions at Sindabezi that you would get at Tongabezi, which is why you're seeing some of the same images as you come through there as well. A little bit more bush camp style, and a very good price bracket or price point for this little island in Tongabezi. It's got its own little swimming pool. It's got its own chef, own staff, so it's a fully fledged lodge. In the past, Ben used to only open it up when he had visitors, and you'd use the main staff staff to come down here. But now it's properly fully opened with its own management and own team, and that's made a massive difference in how the island is run. I'm just giving pictures of the electric dhow boat. And then we've got Livingstone Island. For those of you who don't know, this is an island in the middle of the falls. This is our launch site, which opened in November 23. Years gone by, we used to do it on the Royal Livingstone Lawns, and then they said, no, they wanted to use that launch area for private dinners. So we then put up a marquee, and we secured this site. But then in November 23, we completed the actual build of the site, which is lovely. It's got Wi-Fi and fans and little coffee shop and curio shop here. These are all our recycled glass and copper chandeliers that come from our skills center on Kaya Mawa, on Nakoma Island in Malawi. So the island is only accessed, well, it's accessed most of the year, but generally the month of May, the island is closed. It's very much dependent on the levels of the river. If the river's rise is really, really high, then we could be closed a little bit longer. Yeah, we open all times. We've got three pools: Rock, Angels, and Devil's Pool, and it opens in that order. And obviously, what you saw there, the lady over the edge, is in Devil's Pool. It's been going for many, many years with absolutely zero incidences. It's an amazing, amazing thing. You don't have to swim. You can just do the tour of the falls. It's where Dr. Livingstone first saw the falls. But it's everybody ends up swimming anyway, I find. Okay, so the sort of timings in between everything, nothing is more than an hour and a half apart. Sometimes maybe if you otherwise going Livingstone all the way up to South Luangwa, that could take a little longer. Generally nothing is more than an hour and a half to an hour. Lusaka down to Lower Zambezi is 25 minutes. It's really, really quick. Sausage Tree, Potato Bush are in the park. We open from the 1st of April to the 30th of November. Our green season runs with everybody else from the 1st of July through to the end of October. It's 7 suites, all with private plunge pools, and 1 family suite. When we took over this lodge, we did put in a gym, which is over here. We put in this bar around the tree because the bar was set back. We did a lot of renovation. Sorry, let me switch the thing off. We did a lot of renovations around doing the decks. We put in the evening breezes, which are the air conditioners you see over the beds that run off solar, that use very little energy. This is an incredible park. The game viewing is phenomenal in terms of its leopards and lions and wild dog sightings, but it's also got the best tiger fishing in the world. And so people come here to fish, even though you're not a fisherman and you've never been interested in fishing, you end up fishing because it's such an amazing thing to do. And while you're doing that, there's game around you all the time: elephants, buffalo, waterbuck, etc. We do sundowner cruises, sunrise cruises as well. We do picnic island lunches. We do water lunches where you're in the water. We do beautiful sandbars also on the banks of the rivers. We do bush dinners as well. And just, yeah, an absolutely incredible camp. We've feminized it a bit. It was a little bit masculine. So we've brought that in. We brought in a new chef. So the food is outstanding. I was here in July for 4 nights. I mean, I literally put on 3 kilograms. I was just eating and eating. The food was so amazing. Even though we've got plunge pools in all the rooms, we do have a main pool for anybody who wants to do some exercise, as well as the gym, as I said. The thing here is private vehicles, private boats, private guides, private skippers for every single international booking. Which is wonderful. So we do if you're doing out of camp meals like the picnics and the sandbars and the bush dinners, we do join you up with other guests. So if clients want to be on their own, please just let us know that as well, because in camp it's private, but outside of camp we do join up with 1 or 2 other families. We have got obviously great in-house wines, but we do have a selection of the premium wines. This is our new chef doing a bush brunch here, I think, because obviously it's not dark. Right, and then we've got that's another chandelier from our skill center, by the way. And then we've got our potato bush, which is next door. So like Sindabezi is to Tongabezi, potato bush is to Sausage Tree. So here we've got 4 rooms. One is a family unit with 2 rooms and a lounge area in the middle, and it's got but all rooms do also have plunge pools. Again, we do have a lot of buyouts of this lodge. I do apologize. When that video was taken, we had just finished doing the rescreeding of the floors. It used to be a yellow, and we made it a gray, and we were just putting in new doors and sliding windows, and our container with all the softs was still stuck at the border. So we don't have the images or the videos with all the new furniture in, but I can assure you it's filled up since then. We built a new bar also down at the river level. There was never anything down there. So we built a bar down there and a sunken boma as well, which we can use for private meals, or you can have a private meal in your room. So again, communal dining, a lot of that. But if you want private, please just let us know so that we can prepare the lodge to do that for you. But you also get private vehicles, boats, etc. with Potato Bush. So if you are a group of 6 people, you're going to get 1 vehicle. If you're a group of 4 people, you're going to get 1 vehicle. If you're 2 people, you're going to get 1 vehicle. If you're 8 people, you're also going to get 1 vehicle, because most groups want to stick together. So if your group doesn't want to be all on 1 vehicle, please just let us know. Then moving up to Kafue. Kafue has, as I said, it's the 3rd biggest park in Africa. This section up here, the Busanga Plains, is the same size as the Masai Mara, just to give you an idea. And it's only got 4 lodges in it. So it's absolutely incredible. It's vast. So down here at Ila, we've got, it's a bigger lodge, 10 rooms, 2 families, 2 with the baths out on the decks. So there's no air conditioner at Sindabezi, Potato Bush, or Ila. So one must just remember that. But there is air conditioning at Tongabezi, Sausage Tree, and Chisa Busanga and Shawa. We do walking, game drives. We do also water activities here. It's a lot deeper, the river, but we do fishing. So it's bream, not tiger fishing, and in Vundu. We have our electric boat here, which we do private or joint breakfasts, lunches, brunches, high teas, etc., depending on what the client would like. I was here in January last year, and I wasn't really, we were on, it's not really, we don't really open in January, we only open here in March. And I still saw lions, wild dog, I heard leopard every single day, and we weren't even really on game drive because we were at conference. Elephants, buffalo, you get big herds of buffalo here. Also close to our community center, also the research centers, like the predator researchers, they're close here. African Parks, that manages the park, has their center here. So we can do a lot around a little more immersive stuff here from this lodge as well. And then we're moving up to Busanga, which is just the most incredible area. Just some images for you. Yeah, this again, when I did the 4 nights at Sausage Tree, I did 3 nights here, and I've been here 3 times, and I'll tell you a little bit about my experience. So the first time I came in, I just came in for lunch, and we did see a pride of lions on the way, and big herds of buffalo, and just hundreds and thousands of puku, lechwe. It was just the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And also sable and roan. And then I came in for 1 night with agents. We saw 4 leopards. We saw a cheetah off the airstrip. We saw 2 different prides of lions, and again, buffalo, thousands of lechwe, puku, and also roan and sable. And then I was there now for 3 nights in July, and we saw wild dog off the airstrip. We saw cheetah hunting, 3 of them, 36 lions in 3 days. It was just mind-blowing. And it was, I mean, you couldn't not bump into lions. And 1 leopard. I saw 1 leopard. And I didn't go on 2 safaris because I actually came off a flight and I was a bit sick. So yeah, it's just absolutely phenomenal. Photographic paradise, because you get those lechwe jumping over those plains. Newton just won Game Guide of the Year for Zambia, which is no mean feat if you know how many guards are in Zambia. Emmanuel, our amazing guy, he's been there since the beginning. He's very service orientated. We do a lot of romantic stuff here at Chisa Busanga. It's 4 nests. We have electric vehicles. Just as a disclaimer, we do have diesel backups, simply because it's still a very new concept, electric, and they can be temperamental. So if electric vehicle goes down, it can take 3 weeks to bring up. Diesel takes 3 hours. So we will always have diesel backups. But our expansion is over with lodges, and we're going to expand more with, well, that's what I've been told. But we're going to expand more with our electric vehicles. We've taken that sort of knowledge in-house and building our own engines and converting our own vehicles. So we have a whole fleet that we have to change down at Sausage Tree and Potato Bush and bring on more at our other lodges. So at the moment, we have 7 electric vehicles, and then we do have the rest as diesel backups. It is obviously part of our green mantra to try and be as carbon neutral as possible. I know that I think that they did 70% last year. These 3 camps of their game drives were done on electric. So they do monitor that, but we're obviously trying to get to 100%. And that doesn't include Sausage and Potato Bush because they don't have an electric vehicles just yet. So this is the interior of the nests. It is compact because it's the way it's built up high, a nest in the tree, but air conditioned. That's a 2 3/4 pushed together, gives you an idea of the size actually of this nest. Run 100% off solar. I never had an issue with hot water here. It was just really an incredible time here. In fact, the one night my son had to get out because family hold back and get in to stay with the guide's room, and the other one slept at the end of our bed. So they put a stretcher bed there, and it was fine. I didn't feel cramped at all. So in the winter, they do drop that whole screen down because it can get a little cold, like on the Maasai. Or any plane for that matter. But by lunchtime, we were using the aircon and everything's rolled up again. That was in July. So come the summer months, obviously, they stay up unless the client wants it down. And that's the black gauze is the mosquito net. One has a lift in case anyone has mobility issues. So again, 8 people in camp if it's a full camp, 4 to a vehicle. Just to give you some idea. We're always going to have an authentic element at all our camps around a fire, because we think the bush camps should be grounded with a fire. Good from feng shui, as they say, but always through the modernness of how you serve meals, etc. as well. I sat here and watched every single day at our watering hole, roan, sable, zebra, wildebeest. The day after we left, they actually killed a wildebeest at this watering hole, the lions. Saw a civet there as well, which was amazing. We saw titatunga and blue bush. I've never seen those species before, and I live in Africa, so that was incredible to see. So again, as you can see, 2 very different ecosystems, very different parks. Combining these 2 is almost a must because they are so very, very different. And then you go to South Luangwa. South Luangwa was the first commercial park ever in Zambia. It's the home to the walking safaris, or where walking safaris was born, and other lodges then took on a little bit of that concept. But it's the only place that replaced a full game drive with walking because of the remoteness of the area. And also it's called the Leopard Park for good reason. Very, very good leopard sightings here. We are north. We go 45 minutes north if you're coming on the outside of the park. If you're inside the park and going up, it's an hour and a half north. And the reason for that, because it can get a bit congested near the gate with vehicles coming in and out in this particular area. So we do all of our game drives going north and into the Insefu sector. We have our own direct access in from here into the park, so we don't have to go all the way back to the gate and go through there. But what it is nice, as I said, is that we also do the Insefu sector. So if somebody's here for a bit longer, we will do a full day to the game-rich Insefu sector. So if you know that is an incredible game viewing area. Also, small bush camp, 4 units. We are. Let me show you the video. We are going to be building a deluxe unit as well. And I have been told it will be open in the new season, which starts in May, 1st of May. It's going to be more glass fronted for those clients who perhaps don't enjoy or don't want to be in a tent. I will always say in a tent because I love feeling close to nature. There was one time I was lying there and it was everything open, except obviously the mosquito nets were zipped up like at Chisa Busanga. It does have also a canopy mosquito net over the bed as well. And a whole herd of elephants moved through, and it was full moon. And it was just the most incredible thing to lie there and watch. And where do you feel closer to nature? But some guests, feel a little bit nervous. So we are building a deluxe unit, which is going to be more triangular and glass fronted. So that will be coming on the 1st of May. And then we will bring on another vehicle because, again, 4 to 6 max on a vehicle for us, and bring on another guide as well. Lots of hippo and crocodiles in here, elephants in camp every day. Because of the hippos and crocodiles, you can't do water activities in this park. It's just too dangerous. I know Steve Irwin from Australia tried once and he lasted about half an hour. And we've had a lot of people come and study hippos and study crocodiles. I know recently the latest David Attenborough filmed, not far from our camp actually, a leopardess jumping out of a tree and catching a puku below her. It's just, yeah, an incredible park. And as I said, home to the walking safaris. It's got the Thornycroft giraffe, which is endemic to South Luangwa. You've got these beautiful sandbanks which bring in the carmine bee eaters, and the guides will bring you here either in the early morning or late afternoon for your sundowners, where you watch thousands of carmine bee eaters coming into land at certain times of the year. It's very magical. So we've got 4 units. One is a family unit as well. And then you leave there after breakfast, and by lunchtime you're on the island, and you're the only lodge on the island, which is, I think, is amazing. I've just been somewhere, and I won't mention where because it would be rude. But I was astounded by the amount of hotels and people and everyone with their hand out, and I felt completely like overwhelmed by the crowds. And it made me think, well, this is why this place is just so amazing. So, sorry, the video is a little bit blurred. There is the high-res images on our agent's portal of all these videos and our images, so of the videos as well. So if you don't have access to the agent's portal, please do send me an email. It's easy. It's ros@greensafaris.com, and we will give you access. But this has got premier houses and standard rooms, very much like Tongabezi did. As I said, they were brother-in-laws when they built it. It also has a 4-bedroom sole-use villa as well. It comes with its own private chef. And Kafue, our chef here, went to work in a Michelin star restaurant in the Netherlands, and he's launched his own cookbook. And both proceeds go to the community, and he's just an incredible man, and food is just out of this world. The standard rooms have what we call direct access right into your big swimming pool, as I call it, which is there, the man's diving in. And then you've got the houses with their premium pools or their plunge pools in it. The water is warm, 26 to 30 degrees all year round. So you can be on a winter safari and you can be swimming here. We've got a full paddy diving school. We do, there's no hippos, no crocodiles. And believe you me, I've been here with my son, so I did ask. It's the only place he's ever cried when we've left. We have the locals that come down and do, they've got a band or do any dancing or singing. Nowhere do you engage more authentically with community, which is what I love as well. Water skiing, subbing, tubing, sailing, snorkeling right off your room, fishing. You can do tours around the island on a boat, or you can go and do a drive around the island. There's this 3rd biggest cathedral in Africa on this island. And even if your client is here on a Sunday, they can watch 2,000 people singing and dancing. It really gives you goosebumps. In fact, I had an agent said she cried. Seems like a lot of people cry on this island. So yeah, very romantic. That's exactly what the water looks like. I always forget that I'm on a lake and not on a beach. I keep referring to it as a beach. And then you climb, get in the water. Even I was having dinner once, and then I had my cozy on, and it was still was November, so it was quite warm. And so in the middle of dinner, we just decided to go for a swim. And we did. We went off for a swim between courses, and then we came back and sat down again. It was amazing. We do test twice a year for all sorts of bacteria, so no bilharzia here. Yeah, just a really incredible place. And yeah, so that's the cathedral there. And this is a picture of our skills center. It's we've got these incredible chandeliers. As I said, they recycle glass using this rudimentary tube that they run, recycled glass with the sand and the water from the lake, and they run all day and it sandblasts the glass. Recycle copper from geysers, termite mud beads from termites, teething beads. Yes, we do bring in some materials, but it's all natural materials, linen and natural materials. My house is full of this stuff. I absolutely love it. We do sell this in where we have curio shops as well, like at Tongabezi, we have curio shop, and we do sell this there as well. And that's just a snapshot of our current audited report for our conservation foundation through managing ecosystems and how we choose to manage those ecosystems. So please do feel free to look at the audited report and show that we say we're doing, we actually are doing, which is important. We don't want any whitewashing around that. Right, so that's the presentation. I'm going to stop sharing and see if there are any questions.